Hello there. Sadiq Khan's ULEZ expansion is just a rip-off money-making scam. If you want proof that the ULEZ expansion is all about forcibly stripping your bank account of money and nothing to do with clean air, then here it is. There are plans being drawn up in City Hall right now to convert the whole expanded ULEZ into a pay-per-mile zone, whatever type of car you drive. Own an amazingly green electric battery-driven car? Yes, you'll be paying per mile as well. All because the London Mayor Sadiq Khan realises that as Londoners start replacing their old petrol and diesel cars with electric vehicles, his much-needed ULEZ revenue will dry up. With the Telegraph reporting, Richard Holden, the Roads Minister, told MPs that Seb Dance, London's Deputy Mayor for Transport, had told him that work was taking place in the Mayor's office to look at how to introduce such a plan. So it is all about the money then, nothing to do with clean air. And judging by the report that Khan himself commissioned at public expense that put huge question marks over how effective this ULEZ expansion would be at cleaning up London's air, judging by that, I would reckon he's known about this from the start and that revenue raising was always the ultimate aim. All those expensive ULEZ cameras will soon morph from targeting high-emissions vehicles into targeting your wallet, pure and simple. The whole of London will become a PPMZ, a pay-per-mile zone. But that won't end with London. I think we'll see a national rollout of this in the coming decade. London is the guinea pig. And once that's proved to even half work, these PPMZs will be springing up everywhere. Now make these cameras also monitor the 15-minute neighbourhoods, and your freedom to do as you please will be removed forever. The more I hear about these plans, the more my skin crawls. Now, I recently published a video pointing out that Khan was finding it very difficult to collect all the ULEZ fines meted out by the current ULEZ scheme, where a City Hall response to a Freedom of Information request showed that by the end of last year there was 255 million quid in unpaid fines. Something that points to this being a bit of a pointless exercise, unless there are firm plans to bring in a central bank digital currency and the associated unified ledger, of course. Then collecting those charges and fines will be a doddle. And according to that Telegraph report, City Hall is recruiting software engineers to work out the best way of fleecing vehicle drivers. Now, we're all aware that the eventual aim is to get everyone to scrap their cars and walk, cycle and use buses and trains instead. So once the whole of London has converted to that, where will City Hall get its money? Well, for a start, that subsidised public transport will suddenly get very expensive. And that bicycle you own will need to be taxed and insured, no doubt. And pedestrians do wear out pavements, don't they? And they crowd together at rush hour times, don't they? All huddled together, exhaling used air into the local atmosphere. I'm sure some or other scientists can therefore be found to write a report about how bad that is for us and then suggest the only solution. People congestion zone charging. You can see it coming, can't you? Sounds completely idiotic and nuts, doesn't it? But these establishment types are always desperate to get their hands on your hard-earned dosh. In fact, they believe that the money you get in reward for the work you do is really theirs. And that brings me on to a tweet I saw a couple of days ago, where the poster claimed that there are strong rumours that Keir Starmer's Labour Party is planning special emergency measures after they win the next general election to give local councils the power to force people with unused spare bedrooms to give them up to migrants or face an uplift in their council tax payments. And the poster said they got this from a long-term Labour Party member, a member that was about to resign. Now, I'm not sure how true that really is, but I am sure that many in the Labour Party are talking about this, but I'm also sure it would not appear in such terms in any Labour manifesto. And the pressure is on from the Labour hard left to rub the noses of rich Tories with big houses in poverty. But such a policy would not appear in a Labour manifesto in such clear-cut terms, or as a direct statement. I would expect the next Labour manifesto to give out very general and very non-specific statements on both immigration and net zero. All about making the UK a welcoming country, taking in anyone who wants to live here, etc. And also making the UK the most ecologically friendly country on the planet. All worded in such a way that they can bring in some very draconian new laws, while claiming they are following through on their manifesto commitments that the UK public must be extremely happy with because they voted Labour in with such a huge majority. If they do get a majority, that is. I've got to say that anyone thinking of voting for the Lib Lab Green Con Uniparty needs to wake up, especially those living in London. But as ever, the electorate still believes in the uniparty system. According to a poll last week, Labour is 8 points ahead in Boris Johnson's former seat of Uxbridge and South Ruislip. Yes, Labour's Danny Beales is on 41%, while Steve Tucker from the Tories is on 33%. This is despite strong opposition to the ULEZ expansion. And I don't care what either of these two candidates says about the ULEZ. Both their parties are fully behind these types of schemes, and those MPs will be expected to toe that net zero line. They can question it or say they'll pause the expansion and other language like that, but the end result will be the same, the eventual eradication of the car and therefore the eradication of your right to move about as you please. And don't think for one moment that all public transport and driverless vehicles for hire can't be shut down by area in the future when the government so decides. A vote for the Lib Lab Green Con Uniparty is a vote for the WEF and UN-inspired control grid. Every vote for the Lib Lab Green Con Uniparty is a vote of encouragement for them to double down on wokeness, open borders and net zero. Every vote for the Lib Lab Green Con Uniparty is therefore a dangerous vote. For the Lib Lab Green Con Uniparty, it'll either be woke, open borders and net zero, or it will be bust. They will bankrupt and destroy the country on their way to achieving this if they have to. In fact, I would surmise that they're going to destroy and bankrupt the country as part and parcel of achieving these aims. And everything this government does and the next one plans to do seems to back that theory up. The Lib Lab Green Con Uniparty seems intent on stamping out any whiff of aspiration amongst the people. Work hard today and see the fruits of your labour shared out amongst the rest of the population in ever-increasing amounts tomorrow, making your work pay for everyone else.